In this video, we are going to continue working with dates, and we are just going to keep using cells. Why not? It's fun to work with. And let's just work with order date here. And basically what I'm going to be showing you is like working with discrete data versus working with continuous data. So like I showed in the previous video, you could press this plus icon to see more details about the date you're working with, and you can press this minus icon to collapse the date. And as you can see, we are working with discrete dates here. And when you're working with discrete dates, it creates headers. So this is 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and under that we have each quarter. And under each quarter we have the corresponding months, right? If we collapse this, then we just have the quarters and no months to go with it. So discrete values create headers for us to view stuff. And let's just expand this. And let's say, for example, you don't want to see the month. You can take the month out. And now what we have is the year, the quarter, and the date in the quarter. So this is the total for all day one for all the months in this quarter. The 17, the 18 for all the months in this quarter. So this is quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 for the year 2016. Year, quarter, days in each quarter. All right. So, and from here, this is year. This is the year, and this is the quarters, and we can press this to get to the month. So this is the month in each quarter and the year. So that's one way to work with discrete date parts. Now if we expand this to, now let's say we just remove year. Now we are looking at just the quarter for all the years. So quarter 1 for all the years, quarter 2 for all the years, quarter 3 for all the years, quarter 4 for all the years. We could even take this a step further and let's say leave this as discrete and click this drop down and change this into continuous value. And if we change this into a continuous value, now we have 2016, 2019 quarter 1. And let's say we could change this to a continuous value too. And once we do that, it kind of blends everything together. 2016, 2019. We can break this down into the different weeks. And we could change this back into discrete. And now we are looking at quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. And we are looking at the different weeks associated with it. Now, if we change this back to continuous, as you can see, the headers disappear and we only have the axis right here. And that's because everything is continuous values. So continuous values actually only create axes but not headers. Discrete values create headers and different panes for everything, but continuous values does not create headers and did not create different panes for everything. What they do create is axis. So this axis right here is for quarter and this axis here is for weeks. Now if we change this to quarter, discrete, now we have different panes, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, different headers, and then we have the weeks corresponding to each quarter. If we change this to, let's say, month. Now we have different months for each quarter. So I know it's kind of confusing, but just remember that discrete values, discrete dates create headers and different pins, and continuous values create axes, and they do not create different pins and different headers. And when something is like this, so when you have this separated into different pins, you can move things around. So you could drag this and move it here. You could drag quarter one and move it to the end. You could move things around. Now you can see that quarter three and quarter four are the highest. And we could change this to a bar, and things like that. Now, if you want to bring something like date back in here, well, you can just drag order date and bring it back into the pen. And once what we have right here is the year. And as you can see, year is automatically has a minus sign next to it because we already have quarter and month here. And you can move things around. So right now we have year, and then we have the quarters, then we have the month corresponding to each quarter. We can move things around. Now we have the quarters, and then we have the year in each quarter. And of course, we could move this to here, quarter one, and let's say move quarter three all the way to the end. We could move things around. And of course, you could go to day to get more granular details. Now, this changes everything. If you like, if I change month to, actually, if I change quarter to, let's say, continuous value, as you can see, it moved quarter from the beginning to the end. And of course, this look a whole lot messier because it's a whole lot of things. Now, if I remove order date from it, you can kind of see how things changes. First, we have the year, then we have the month, and then we have the quarter as continuous value. And as you can see, quarter is down here on the axis as opposed to the header because quarter is a continuous value. So this is one of those things you kind of have to play with a little bit and kind of build intuition of when do I use discrete and when do I use continuous values. Now we can also use year to give us different colors. So we could drag something like order dates to color. And because year is a discrete value, we get different colors for the different years. Now if we take this a step further, and let's say take quarter and put it on color. Now each quarter is a different color. And that's because this quarter right here is a discrete value. Now if I click this drop down and change it into a continuous value, now we have a color gradient. So remember, continuous values create a color gradient, while discrete values create a color palette, right? So we have this as continuous color gradient. And of course, we could take order date and put it here, and now we are back to using year as the color, and we can change this to continuous, and it's going to create a color gradient. Now we have a color gradient for each year. So you can filter, you can use year as your color. And just remember, if you're using continuous year, it's going to create a color gradient. And if you're using year as discrete, it's going to create a color palette. You could also filter your data using date. So we could drag other dates to filters, and when you do that, you are presented with discrete date part or continuous date values. And in this case, I just want to, let's just say month discrete, and let's click on next. I want to say and choose, so let's just choose a couple of months and click apply and choose OK. So now the information presented in our pane is only reflecting those months that we chose as opposed to all the months. And let me drill this down. Okay, so now we only have January, April, and September. In this view, makes it a little bit easier to see. We can edit our filter, and let's add in a couple of months, apply, and you can see the changes that's happening right there. And of course, we could show our filter, so we could do show filter, and let me drag this down here. And of course, from here, you could choose the months that you want to view. So we could just use month as the columns, discrete, and then we could use rows, increase sets at the rows, and then we can choose the month we want to view right here. And each year represents a different color on our color panel right here. So basically for 2019 had the highest sales in September. And of course, we could make this a bar graph, and it looks like a stacked bar graph. We could also filter by year. Maybe we want to just look at 2018 and 2019. So we could bring other dates into the view, and actually let's do range of dates. Let's do next. We want to go from 2018 to 2020 or 2019. We only want to show this range of dates, and then we can click apply. Okay, you don't have to click apply before clicking OK. You can just click OK. And now we are just looking at the data for 2018 and 2019. And of course, we could change this back to a line graph. We could show this filter. We could make this entire view so it looks a whole lot better. We could select all the months for all the years. You could just select a few months for all the years. You could change your range here. So we could do relative dates. We could do start dates, end dates, browse periods. But let's go back to range of dates like we had it before. So yeah, you could use dates to create filters. I know this video went a little bit long, but the point of this video is to show you that you could manipulate dates in many different ways. You could use it as months. You could use it as months, days, year, weeks. You could use it as discrete values. You could use it as continuous. You can use it as discrete values. You can use it as continuous values. You can use it as a color. You can use it in your coloring. Color your dates. You can use it as filters. So there are many different ways for you to work with dates in Tableau. And that's it for this video, and I'll see you on the next one.